Hey guys, I am so excited. I'm seriously just sitting right down so that I can film this because I want to show you what I've been waiting for weeks now to get in the mail. I just got my Ancestry DNA pack. I am so excited. I have wanted to do this for years now, ever since I got an Ancestry DNA account. I am so curious, obviously, about finding more about my biological history and my ancestry and my DNA. And it's just about time that we do this, I get this done, and I want to share it with you all. I'm just so excited. Here we go.
So here we have the Ancestry DNA box that everything comes in. Nice little welcome package here. As you go through, you'll pull out a little bag that your little saliva pack will go back into before it goes in the box. Here is the tube that you will actually be spitting into, and it has a nice little blue capsule that will be helping to seal your saliva once it's in there. And of course the little pre-sealed or pre-assigned box that you'll put your saliva package back into. Here's is getting it started. Pulling out the little tube. You'll see that you'll have to attach some of the pieces and spit all the way up to that little black line. You'll put the blue tube back on, make sure it breaks, and just shake it for at least 5 seconds. Seal it all back together. Make sure it gets back into the nice neat little box that came with it. It seals right up pretty easily. It was really nice to have. Make it as easy as possible for you. Do not forget to register your code for your DNA sample into the website. Make sure you add that you want to share or if you want to have DNA matches.
And that is basically it. So now we just wait. I will be back and I can't wait to show you my results. Hopefully I learn a little bit more and maybe even find some DNA matches. So see you soon. Okay, first of all, can we talk about how cool this shirt is? Like, Adoptee strong. Yes, this is the kind of merchandise I've been looking for so long. I have always wanted to wear some sort of adoption shirt or something like a hat, and it's really hard to find quality materials for decent prices, and I actually found this on a site called Adoptee merch and I love it. So if you're interested in this shirt, I will put the link below on how to find it. Do take a look. They've got lots of cool stuff for all kinds of people. But down to business, I have finally gotten my results from my Ancestry DNA test. I just got the email today and I am so excited, so let's just get right to it. Let's see. Okay, so when I first go into the Ancestry DNA portion of the site, I see a nice big screen that sort of takes everything apart into different categories. It has my DNA breakdown, DNA matches, which I am most excited to look at. Let's start with DNA story, so my ethnicity breakdowns. Well, before I actually look at predictions, I do know a bit about my biological background already. I do know I'm, of course, part white and part Hispanic Mexican, more specifically, so I am expecting to see Western Europe, Iberian, so like Spain, and of course Native American, which would be more Mexican in my case. Wow, okay. Okay, this is really interesting. So I was really excited about the Ancestry DNA test specifically because it is very specific, or more specific than other sites. So it might have categories like Great Britain as a whole, just to give you an overall estimate. But when I click on it, it gives me a bit more of a breakdown of where my DNA is primarily coming from. So I see under 55% Great Britain, which is actually more than I expected. England, Scotland, and Wales, which I've never heard before. Definitely England. I've also heard Ireland for my background, but I was definitely not expecting Scotland or Wales, but I guess England and Scotland are kind of pretty close, so not too much of a surprise. But that is really cool. Then going back to the next set, Native American, so 16% approximately Native American. And it says more specifically, your DNA shows that you have ancestry from Native American and links you to these specific regions. New Mexico. I was definitely not expecting New Mexico because that makes it sound more like Native American tribes, which I definitely was not expecting, so that's a little surprising to me. I don't want to just jump into any sort of assumptions because there is no really definite way to figure that out, but that is very surprising. But then it goes down into more of Latin America, which I was definitely expecting. It says Jalisco, Aguascalientes, Guanajuato, and Michoacan, which I don't know anything about, but I've never heard this before and I'm very excited about it. I'll definitely be looking into that a bit more. If you are familiar with any of those ethnicities or terms or regions, please let me know. I'm very curious and I have no idea. I've never heard of any of this. So the summary seems to just kind of go over the history of the region and settlers in the area. I'm not quite sure how to interpret that in terms of how it relates to me biologically. Maybe settlers mixing with the people of the area, or I'm not quite sure. I wish it had a little bit more information that was a bit more clear on how to actually interpret what this means to you. But it's information nonetheless that is much more specific than I've ever gotten from any other type of service. And then my last main split in DNA that is of confidence in how they analyzed my DNA. It's the Iberian Peninsula, which I was expecting. So that would be Spain and Portugal area, around 6% it looks like on here, which is interesting. I think I'm going to do another video comparing my 23andMe results to my Ancestry DNA results because they are quite different, which is surprising to me. Then you get down into the low confidence region, so not as confident in terms of the strength in your DNA, I suppose. It goes into places like Europe West, Europe South, Middle East, Scandinavia, all of these are 3 or 4%. European Jewish, about 2%, Caucasus, 2%, and then less than 1%, Asia South, Finland, Northwest Russia, Nigeria, and Polynesia. So quite a little mix of splits in there, but my main chunks would be Great Britain area, Native American, and Latin American, and Iberian Peninsula, which was overall kind of what I was expecting. But it's kind of nice to be able to see a bit more specific, but it is quite different from what I was expecting in terms of percentages. I have used 23andMe before, which showed larger percentages in different regions, so I am kind of surprised at how drastically different the two sites are. So I am curious as to how I can go into learning more about this and getting more specific information, because it is a lot. They do give you a lot of regions and specific percentages, so I'm not quite sure how to interpret it. But overall, this is really cool. This is really exciting, and just one more piece of the puzzle of who I am. And now to get to the really exciting stuff, the DNA matching options that they have. Going back to the main page shows DNA story and DNA matches. So clicking on DNA matches, I don't know what to expect. Let's see. A first cousin. The highest percentage on here is a first cousin. I've never seen a first cousin in anything before. The closest relation that I had on 23andMe was a maybe second cousin. Oh wow, that's really surprising. This could be a really big step. I can message them. I'm going to message them. let's message them. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna message my first cousin. I'm just gonna say I'm looking for my birth father, and just judging by how close they are and even by their name, it looks like they're probably going to be related to me through my birth father. And if they are a first cousin, that could be a huge step. They could know them directly. Ah, this is so exciting. Okay. I'm not gonna make you watch me do that actually, but I'm gonna go do that, and I'm gonna send a message, and I will be right back. Overall, I'd say I'm pretty pleased. I will say that it is a little bit frustrating that to use a lot of the Ancestry DNA matching tools, such as to see how you're related to people on the site, you do have to pay for the subscription for the Ancestry services, which is technically fair and it makes sense, but it is a little frustrating. So if you don't have a subscription to the regular Ancestry site, you won't be able to see as much, but you do get kind of an overall look at the people you're related to. In comparison to other sites like 23andMe, I have used 23andMe. It is probably my favorite over Ancestry DNA. It is clear, it has more color coding, a nice map, you can see exactly what's correlating to what, and for the DNA relative testing, it gives you a lot more information. So if you just buy the test, you pretty much get everything. You don't get to do the family tree stuff, of course, that's just Ancestry DNA or Ancestry.com, and that has its own benefits, so I like having both. But if you're really just looking for the full DNA construction and maybe some health side of your DNA as well, I'd recommend 23andMe. But if you're looking to build a family tree and get the overall gist, Ancestry DNA is the way to go. Okay, so that was my Ancestry DNA results. I got to go through my compositions, which are those main 3 portions, which I was kind of expecting, and I got to go through some DNA relatives, and I found a first cousin, which I'm so excited about. It's just one step closer to finding my birth family members that I have not yet found. So I shot off a message and we'll see where it goes. I am also still waiting on hearing back about my paperwork for confidential intermediary for my brother. I will update as soon as I hear anything, but overall this has been really exciting and just a little bit more about me. If you've done Ancestry DNA or any other DNA testing site, please let me know. I'd love to hear your experiences and any sort of crazy stories about finding someone that you're related to on these sites. Hopefully it goes well. Until next time.